Ladies and gentlemen, Eagles fans around the world, welcome back to the Dougie Johns Senior Spotlight Show, where we highlight last week's efforts, talk to 4 seniors this week, and look ahead to what's on tap this week for varsity sports at Liberty Benton. First, to cover the results of last week's football game, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. John O'Donnell.
Thank you, Jason, and hello, everybody. You know what? This was one of those games that you really wanted to be involved in. You just wanted to win it. The LB Eagles, we went to Ashland University, myself, you, producer John Korn, we're all there doing various activities in the press box, and we're playing Division VI powerhouse Mogadore at Ashland University. Mogadore is actually from my old neck of the woods, and it was an excellent game. First and foremost, hats off to the kids, the coaching staff, for just fighting your hearts out. And for those of you who didn't see the game or see the results, the Mogadore offense really posed a problem for Liberty Benton. They were led by a trained polar bear, number 87, Mason Williams, an excellent kid and a recruit for OU at tight end. And as you can imagine, at 6'4", 240 pounds, he really did dominate that Liberty Benton defensive front physically, not in heart. And we'll hear a little bit more about that during the senior spotlight. They really did fight their hearts out, but physically, Mason was a real problem. And regardless, the Eagles, they fought back time and time again. Cam Garlock, I thought, played a great game. He got the Eagles up 28-27 into the fourth quarter, but it just was same thing. The Wildcats ran the ball down the field, scored, gave the Eagles a chance, but Cam Garlock throwing an interception late in the game, it was just a tough loss. What was your main takeaway, Jason, from that game?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the Eagles really responded. Wildcats brought a ton of physicality. We did not bring that physicality against Arlington, and it showed taking the loss. And I thought we returned to what we brought in the Columbus Grove game with a lot of playoff atmosphere and a lot of intensity. They really turned it up there in the second half, and we'll talk to Ethan Bauer about what brought that on for the Eagles. But I was really impressed, like you said, with the physicality and the toughness, the heart that the Eagles showed. And, I think the key here is the kids know that they can do it. Certainly the coaches have had that expectation all season long, but the kids really need to just be focused on continuing to do that each and every single game. Don't back down from anybody and don't overlook anybody as well.
Yeah, a lot of credit to the Eagles coaching staff. And really the 2 adjustments I noticed in the second half was they shifted their attack from the outside of the field to the inside of the field. They ran away from number 87, Williams, who played a lot less on defense in the second half, and that really helped Cam open up the offense with his running game. One thing I will say, you got to give Mogadore a ton of credit. They really coached that game well. It wasn't just 87. They had a really good outside back, number 34, and they had key passes to a wideout 44. They just kept the Eagles off balance just enough, and it was, again, a great game to be a part of, but would have liked to see the Eagles pull it out. Jason, what else happened this week in Liberty Benton sports?
Yeah, thanks, John. Let's talk soccer. First, boys, they lost a tough one to Wapakoneta, a great Wapakoneta team, at home on Tuesday, but they rebounded with a nice 7-2 victory over Upper Sandusky on Thursday night. That game under the lights. Always exciting to be playing under the lights. The Eagles used a 4-0 run in the second half to knock off the Rams. Balanced attack on offense with 6 goal scorers, scoring 7 goals, led by Chase Troyer. I think maybe put in his first goal of his freshman career and ended with 2 goals in the game. Garrett Nealis, a sophomore, also had a goal and an assist. So, John, how do you think this sets the boys soccer team up for the conference run?
Right, it's interesting with this team. And I watched the highlights of this game. The cool thing, like you said, it was the lights. I think, we talk about these athletes as athletes, but they're students first. So to experience a game under the lights, I think is a great experience for all the kids involved. The young players, Chase, Garrett, I think they really do give us momentum going into the season, going into the conference games. The thing is they have to score goals. They've played good defense all year long. They've got to score goals. I think we're seeing that attack really get some life to it, so hoping for some success in the NWSSL.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully they continue to run the table and take down that conference. Now turning it over to girls soccer, they opened the week with an 8-0 win over Upper Sandusky. Upper Sandusky simply had no answer for the Eagles, who then met up with previously undefeated Shawnee team on Saturday. That Shawnee game finished in a tie, 0-0.
Of course it did. Every game that we cover finishes at 0-0. And, this was really neat. First of all, I don't think Upper Sandusky wants to play us in boys soccer, girls soccer, underwater basket weaving, anything, because I think as we talk here, the girls just scored another goal. This was great, though, right? Shawnee's a really tough team, and we talked about the schedule the Eagles have played. They look like they're prepared to play some really good games going into the conference. What do you think on the girls' side that we can expect in conference play?
Yeah, I think you got it right on. They certainly open with a tough schedule, get themselves set up very well, and gives them an opportunity to really work on some things. I know in talking with some of the coaches, feel like now they're starting to get focused and really ready to run the table there in the conference to get ready for the tournament.
Great. Well, I'm looking forward to our soccer teams really taking advantage of their tough schedules early and turning into conference success. Let's go to volleyball. We noticed that the girls have only lost the one game to Northview early in the season. They started their march towards a 6th straight BVC conference title with a straight sets win over Van Buren on Wednesday. They played at the Pioneer Days Invite in Kalida. They beat Wayne Trace in the championship game 25-18 and 25-21. As I learned from Julie Todd, they actually played at 25, not 21. So thank you, Miss Julie Todd. In that tournament, they also beat Fairview and Lima Bath. One thing that I will say about the girls is they just really are a dominant team that really want to be good, and I think that's important with this team, so we'll see how that continues. The cross-country girls, they won the Division 2B at the Tiffin Carnival event. Maddie Garkey finished first overall. Riley Irwin finished fourth. Apparently they outran all the other clowns and circus animals at that thing. And you know what? That brings us to the poll question of the week. We've asked this a lot, but it's really important as you guys watch this show. We want to bring you what you want to hear. So if you can let us know what sport should be the focus of next week's trivia question, you can vote on that poll at Fly LB Eagles on Twitter. Let's take a break. We'll go to the senior spotlight. We have 4 seniors this week. We have Karis Willow from volleyball. We have Carmen Mikowski, cheerleader. And we have Ethan Bauer and Braden Wages from the football team. And we will be right back after we hear from those 4 seniors.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at the Dougie Johns Senior Spotlight. This week we are featuring from the volleyball team Miss Karis Willow. Karis, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. If you wouldn't mind, please share your parents' names.
My parents are Thomas and Anita Willow.
Fantastic. How about your other extracurricular activities?
I am involved in choir, habitudes, track and field, and I think that's all.
That's quite a bit right there. You mentioned a little bit about theater. You tried to get into the theater as well?
I did theater when I was really, really young, but no, maybe I'll make a star appearance senior year, but we'll see.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, obviously, I think quite the accomplished high jumper, if I recall correctly, making it to state last year.
Yes,
yeah.
I made it to state with a jump of 5.6.
Yeah, fantastic. So we'll be looking for that we're looking forward to that in the spring. But right now, we're going to focus solely on fall sports and volleyball. Talk to us about, speaking of volleyball, talk to us about your plans after high school.
My plans after high school, I plan on attending the Pennsylvania State University, or Penn State, to major in early childhood education with a minor in ASL, and I'll also be playing volleyball.
Fantastic. Well, that's exciting about being able to play volleyball in a second level here. Let's talk about, before we get into some of those details, let's talk about your favorite volleyball memory.
There's so many. I feel like everyone on the teams would say like, oh, it's winning state, it's the full state run, it's the puppies at state. Every year we always go visit this fancy dog store, and we get to pet these $1,000 dogs that like you'd never see anywhere, and they're so cute. They're like 4 weeks old. It's just adorable. But it's just like the little moments of LBVB. It's definitely special because you're with these girls every day of the week. You really get to know the different personalities, and this year we're just meshing so well together. But if I had to pick a favorite memory, it'd definitely be the pregame locker room dance parties, especially when we get in the tournament run. We get super hype, and it's just so much fun.
Gotcha. Coach Todd participate in those dance parties?
She has, actually, yeah. At state, she got into our Eeny Meeny. It was our song last year, and she got in that a few times, so yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, she's a great coach and great mentor and leader as well, so glad to see her staying involved there. Of course, last year, I'm sure one of the big memories that you're too modest to share, getting your 1,000th kill against Van Buren. I'm curious, any particular goals in mind regarding to kills or just in general for you and or the team?
the team goals are always win the BBC, win districts, win state. I think we can do it this year. Personal goals of mine would be 5,000 kills on the season, which would break the school record. Izzy is pretty far up there with 1,302. So.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you said 5,000. Did you mean 500
Oh.
kills on the season?
500 kills, yeah, that'd be like I'd
Yeah.
win the entire everything.
Yeah, that would be amazing. We would take that. I'm sure Coach wouldn't mind if you could get 5,000 this year, but I'm sure she'll be extremely excited about getting 500 as well.
Yes, that's what I'm aiming for. I'm on track for it, but it'll take a lot.
Yeah, well, you referenced Izzy Granger. Ironically, that was our trivia question last week, was who has the most career kills for the Eagles, and I think that's her. So, yeah, it'd be nice to change that answer next year. So.
It would definitely be cool, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fantastic. I do need to dig just a little bit deeper here. Coach Todd, she gave me a ton of questions that I could ask you, but I don't know that we have enough time to get into all those questions, and I can tell by the look on your face you're already a little bit nervous. I'm going to try to squeeze in a couple quick hitters here that you can kill and spike if I can keep the volleyball reference going. So I hear that you have a nickname for your knee brace, and I hear that the knee brace is in pretty rough shape, pretty beat up.
Yes, actually, it wasn't originally a nickname. The team would come up with different names to randomly shout out instead of shouting out something bad. And Sydney Elsa's hers last year was Jerv or Moses or whatever. And I just always clung on to the name Deborah. So my knee brace is in fact named Deborah. I'm on Deborah 3.0 and I'm supposed to be getting one really soon here because I'm on the floor a lot. I dive a lot. That's one of my favorite things to do. And so I'm burning holes. I'm breaking the metal.
Oh my gosh.
It's not. It needs replaced. So
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, we'll keep our eye out, our ear open for Deborah in coming season. Everybody will know what that is in the coming games. Next one, you talked about this. You're heading to Penn State next year, continue your volleyball career. I understand that maybe you've been dreaming about playing at Penn State for a long time. Is that right?
Yes. My dad actually grew up in Pennsylvania, and so he was a big Penn State fan. So I was the weird girl because everyone's like OSU, like OH, and I'm like, no. I was huge in Penn State. We had a family Halloween costume one time where we all dressed up as different players. So when I was about 10, my mom's like, hey, Ohio State and Penn State are playing in Ohio State. Why don't we take the family? So I went, and I actually got to meet Allie Franti. She's a big-time, U.S. volleyball player. Got a picture with her, and I'm like, you know what? I want to go here someday. And so, it's words can't describe it. It's
a dream come true.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So since you were 10, you've been dreaming of that. Wow, great. Good for you. And quite the accomplishment to be able to do that. And you got your goals set high for you and the team. And so we certainly wish you the best on this upcoming season. Hope you accomplish all those goals personally. And I'd like to see that team win that state title again, back-to-back titles. So we've talked a lot about that already on the Dougie John Senior Spotlight show. So, hey, ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand? Best wishes to you this season, Miss Karis Willow. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest on a Dougie John Senior Spotlight from the cheerleading squad, Miss Carmen Mikowski. Carmen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How about sharing your parents' names with everybody?
Brian and Jackie Mikowski.
Brian and Jackie, and of course Jackie works at the school, so easy access for a lot of us to run across her from time to time. Do you ever run into her while you're at school?
Yes, I'm actually an office aide, so I spend a whole period with her every day.
You do? Wow, well, good for you guys to get along that well. Fantastic. How about your other extracurricular activities?
I'm in the student council and also National Honor Society.
Wow, congratulations. That's great. Continue to be a tremendous leader within the group. How about your plans after high school?
Right now, I'm planning on going to Kent State University to major in fashion merchandising.
Yeah, fantastic. That's a great program over there, I believe.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of folks going there. Of course, a MAC rival of Bowling Green, so maybe we'll see if we can get BG to come up with one of those majors and keep you a little bit closer. Actually, I think Big Brother is at BG. Is that right?
He was. He's not anymore, though.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. How about your favorite cheer memory?
Well, my first, so this is the first year that I've done cheer, so I had a lot of fun at the camp that we had at Ashland. That was like my first experience with the team and getting to know everybody. So that was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's great that it's first year and kind of getting out there and taking a chance on something. Good for you. Obviously, you talk about going to Ashland, then we went to Ashland again this past weekend. I was just curious how you handled what did you do during that long bus ride all the way over to Ashland and back home?
So I always, like, my seat partner is always Kira Ogden, so we always like to listen to a lot of fun music, like old songs that we used to listen to when we were younger. So that helps keep us busy and entertained.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you guys have access to the same, you guys were familiar with Ashland because you went there for the camp, or was it a different spot between the camp and now the football game?
So for the camp, we were actually inside in their gym. So we had never actually been to the football stadium, so it was cool to see how that looked, and it was really nice there.
Yeah, it was a great experience, and looked like the Mogador group had a great group of cheerleaders as well. It was fun to meet them.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, great. Best wishes on a great senior season with the cheer. Hopefully root those football players on to some more big wins. And got a lot of other extracurriculars, and obviously best wishes at Kent State as well. So how about a big hand for Miss Carmen Mikowski? All right, folks, our next guest on the Dougie John Senior Spotlight Show, please welcome number 50, Mr. Ethan Bauer.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, buddy. Great to have you here. How about sharing with us your parents' names?
Chris and Elaine Bauer.
Chris and Elaine. Fantastic. How about other extracurriculars that you participate in?
I'm in the high school concert band. I'm in National Honor Society, and also I wrestle.
Absolutely. Well, I know you from the wrestling mat. It's always fun to see you out there. Concert band, I didn't see that one coming. What instrument or instruments do you play?
I play the trumpet, and I've played the trumpet since 5th grade.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. First chair?
Second chair.
Second chair. All right. So got some room to climb this year. Fantastic. How about your plans after high school?
After high school, I plan to attend college. Not sure what college yet, but I'm going to pursue engineering of some kind.
Yeah, fantastic. Have you had a chance to visit any schools yet, or any on the radar?
Yeah, I visited the University of Toledo. I also visited University of Michigan, but I'm leaning more towards Toledo.
Yeah, okay. Well, I always talk about Bowling Green. We don't offer engineering, so I won't make too big of a plug there other than Toledo's the rival. So, and they've got the Buckeyes this week, so we'll see how that goes for the Rockets. But good plans there, and engineering, what a great field. How about sharing with us your favorite football memory?
Honestly, my favorite football memory is just after every home game win, we have a dance party inside the weight room. It gets so hype in there. It's so fun. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Is there a special song that gets played during that?
Yes, Hotel Room Service by Pitbull.
All right, gotcha. All right, starting to get out of my element. I don't have any follow-ups to that, but sounds like a lot of fun. So, obviously, Ethan, you're the anchor to the defensive line. We called your name a few times Friday night at the game in Ashland versus Mogador. But I'm just curious, big number 87, 6'4", 245 fullback. I'm curious how sore you are after pounding on him all night.
Honestly, Saturday morning was probably the most sore I've ever been after a game. I mean, our defense was we were fighting in there. We really were. I mean, they probably should have got a lot more yards on us than they did, but, we just kept fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, and knows that when you're sore, then you did some work there for sure. And I agree. I thought you guys really stepped up the intensity. Actually, talking about stepping up the intensity, I felt, especially in the second half, that the intensity really turned up in that game. The defense was really, pounding on those guys and making a lot of great plays. I'm just curious, were there any special halftime messages from coaches, captains, other seniors that now remember, family-friendly show here, that you're allowed to share to the audience on how intense it was at halftime?
Yeah. So our coaches basically told us that we are capable of beating this team, and that honestly, they didn't care about the outcome. They just want us to fight till the very end, they even made a special comment to me saying, play like you're capable. And that kind of goes to everybody. We weren't having the best first half, but the coaches just lifted us up, and boom, we had a way better second half.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys definitely responded to that coaching. And, I expect to see that, and I'm sure the coaches do too, expect to see that carrying forward for the rest of the season. So excited. You guys feel like you still got a lot to accomplish here this year?
Yes. I mean, we have taken 2 losses, but from here on out, we're not planning on losing again.
Yeah, All right, fantastic. Well, that's a great approach, and again, love the intensity. Hope to see that carry forward this Friday against Corey Rawson and the rest of the season. Best wishes to you on your senior season, and thanks for being on the Dougie Johns Senior Spotlight Show. Thanks to Mr. Ethan Bauer. All right, folks, our final guest on the Dougie Johns Senior Spotlight Show today, another football player, number 1, Mr. Braden Wages. Welcome to the show, Braden.
Thanks for having me.
How about sharing with us your parents' names?
My dad's name is Travis Wages, and my mom's name is Kelly Wages.
Travis and Kelly, and of course, I think they're the senior parent reps on the Parents Club for the football. Is that right?
Yep, they are.
Yeah, they do a lot of work, and that's much appreciated from them. How about sharing with the audience your other extracurricular activities?
I play basketball and baseball, and then I'm also in National Honor Society.
Yeah, fantastic. 3-sport athlete and National Honor Society to boot. That's great. How about your plans after high school?
I plan to attend college. I've looked at University of Cincinnati, Ohio State, and BG, all for engineering.
Engineering, fantastic. All right, a lot of great opportunities there. Have you had a chance to submit an application to any of those yet?
I haven't yet, but
Yeah,
I'm working on it.
yeah, you got time, so no worries. You've only been in school for a couple of weeks. You got plenty of time. How about your favorite football memory?
I do really enjoy, as Ethan mentioned earlier, the post-game dance battles, but I'd probably have to go with, in my junior year, I got big stick twice, and that really stuck with me. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, good deal. Well, I'm curious, who got the big stick this week? Was there anybody?
I did.
Yeah, is it that time when when big number 87 got knocked off his feet?
That was it.
Yeah, well, we were up in the press box. John was up there with me with a bunch of other folks. As you know, I was doing PA, and those guys were running the clock, and there was a lot of oohs and ahs on that one. That was a fantastic hit. Felt like that really changed the tone for the defense, so good for you.
It felt good.
Yeah, absolutely. How about any pregame superstitions or routines that you want to share?
Coach Cherry Jolliffe always tapes my right ankle and then my left ankle, and then he'll tape my wrist boxer style. And he does it every game, and then he'll crack my back, and then I'm ready to go.
And you're ready to go. All right. Fantastic. Well, Mr. Jolliffe does a fantastic job with all of our athletes, keeping them healthy and getting them taped up and ready to go for the game. That's fantastic. Now, I got a little bonus question here for you. I'm curious if you have any good stories about consuming pre-workout supplements.
I do. So last year against Pandora Gilboa, we were at Pandora, and I took 2 scoops of pre before the game, but on the way to the game, I had a foot-long Subway sub, and I kind of regretted it because in the first quarter, I threw up all over the sideline, and that was very rough. But I think I played pretty well after that. But
Yeah.
it didn't feel good at
Gotcha.
first.
First time and last time doing that?
Yeah, the pre-workout, yes, but the throwing up, no, unfortunately.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, a lot of people have that habit, unfortunately, and that happens to the best of us. So,
Yeah.
Well, hey, best wishes. Great season so far. Best wishes on a great senior season. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for Braden Wages?
Thank you.
All right, folks, it's trivia time. Immeasurably More Custom Designs is our trivia sponsor. Again, trivia winners will be entered into a drawing for a hat and a pullover, so don't forget to get those answers in. Last week's winner, with the correct answer of Izzy Granger for the most career kills for the volleyball team, was Mr. Leatherman, the middle school principal, although he actually answered it with question marks, so it wasn't very confident in his answer.
Or he thought we were on Jeopardy, where you have to put your answer in the form of a question. Either way, Mr. Leatherman, congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about it on the Senior Spotlight show. Certainly an outside chance that Senior Spotlight guest Karis Willow could break that mark, the career mark, this year.
Oh, it's easy if she gets the 5,000 kills that she was looking for in the interview. Just kidding, Karis.
Absolutely. So let's revisit an old question that we actually didn't get posted correctly and has never been answered. So let's throw that out there this week heading into the football game versus Corey Rawson. So what we want to know is who holds the single game record for touchdown passes? That's right. Who has the most touchdown passes in one football game for Liberty Benton varsity football?
Well, we're going to get into next week's activities next, but first, thank you for letting me post that correctly, hopefully, this time. That was supposed to be the question for week 2, so that will be in the comments of the YouTube page. First person in the comments to answer correctly will be this week's winner. All weekly winners will be entered into a contest for the prize. This week, the girls' soccer team has one game. It is a road game against the Ada Bulldogs. The Ada Bulldogs started out 3-0, which I think was a little surprising because they're not usually a strong team. They did lose their first game against Riverdale, and now they're 4-1 coming into the Eagles. The problem for Ada is I think these teams have played 3 times in the last 3 years, and the score is 26-1. Now, the Eagles team, as we've talked about, had a tough schedule. They're still younger than they've been in recent years, so it could be a closer game than in prior years, but I'm not betting on it. In soccer on the boys' side, the boys are hosting Ada on Thursday, September 15th, and then they will head to Lima Bath for a matchup on Saturday. Jason, what's going on with football this week?
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about football taking on Corey Ross, and that's at home Friday night. Big 50-50 pot again with our sponsors there, so make sure you visit the booster tent, get your 50-50 tickets. You know, as we talked about, the first 4 games, certainly a big challenge, and Coach Garlock was, certainly concerned about that, but I think the Eagles are going to come out better for it in the long run as they enter that softer part of their schedule here. I certainly would expect them to dominate Corey Rawson in this BVC matchup. We rattled off a bunch of scores last week, a bunch of halftime scores, and it was a bunch to 0, and that was literally 0 for most of those opponents, and I think Corey Rawson was in that mix. So, there's certainly no margin of error. So as Ethan talks about, and as we talked about in the opener, they've got to stay focused. They cannot look past anybody if they want to have that chance to win the conference. So, and then looking forward to the next few weeks, Pandora Gilboa is out there as a tough challenge, and then of course Macomb waits at the end. There'll be some cupcakes in the middle. So Eagles need to continue to stay focused and look to get better and correct any errors that are out there.
That's a great point. I know the BVC does have their stronger teams. This is certainly not to, put Pandora Gilboa down. Macomb's a good team. Obviously, Arlington got to win over the Eagles. I understand that there are good teams in this conference, but on a whole, and you and I mentioned it, we'd see 124 to -7 on a lot of these scores, and that's a problem with a team like Liberty Benton who really does want to set themselves up for long state tournament runs, for division titles. They really want to push themselves up. You have to play stronger competition. That's why they need to get out of the BVC. Before you move to golf, I do want to mention something because I think this is an example of how this community supports our sports from the youth level all the way up to high school. This week at Corey Rawson, the game, which will be at home, the youth cheerleaders will be on the field. They are, of course, coached by the high school cheerleaders, and it's really pretty impressive. I mean, they have dozens and dozens of kids out there at different age groups. So if you have a chance to get out to the game, to support the Eagles, also support those youth cheerleaders. Really a great program that they run, so I wanted to give them a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always a great event, very well attended, and would expect that 50-50 that I talked about earlier to be even bigger than normal. As we turn to golf, they do have 2 head-to-head matchups this week, one versus OG, I believe that's at Pike Run, and that's actually occurring today, Tuesday the 13th, as we're taping, and then on Thursday they take on LCC. Volleyball travels to Van Lew. Expect them to put a whooping on the Wildcats this week as they continue to look to keep their unblemished schedule other than Northview and winning 3-0 in every match and not losing a set going here for the volleyball team. And then finally, cross country, they head to Lakota for a race on Saturday.
Well, that's great, and thank you for not making me do that crazy Lakota cheer that they do at home games. I do appreciate that. That's really it for the Dougie John Senior Spotlight this week. I did want to give everybody a reminder that there is currently a raffle being held by the football boosters. It is $10 an entry for a set of 4 Cooper tires. The drawing will be at the homecoming game, I think during halftime. Don't quote me on that. We will put a link in the comments on how to enter. That's it for us. So on behalf of Jason Browerman, I'm John O'Donnell. We're signing off. Thanks for joining us. And as always, go Eagles!